The trick to this stitch is that you don't ever actually knit with the second color, which was really confusing to me when I got started. So my columns are 3 stitches, so I'm going to knit 3. Now I'm going to bring my pink yarn to the front of the work. It's hanging out on the back, and you can absolutely just start your strand here. If I was down at the bottom of the swatch, I would just leave a 4 to 6 inch tail hanging at the back. Here is the most important thing you're going to learn in this whole video. You always want to take the pink yarn over the cream yarn, because you want a strand separating all of these little pink strands, and you want to be consistent so it's neat. So my pink is going over my cream, and we'll talk more later about turning. So there is my pink is in the front. Now I'm going to knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now my pink yarn has to go to the back. So I'm sort of bringing my beige over, and I'm taking my pink to the back. Like anything else that has a float, you don't want it too loose or too tight, but a little loose is better than a little tight, because you will lose some of the width when you put your body. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to again take my beige over, bring my cream on top. I'm bringing that to the front of the work, and I'm going to knit 5. So once again, for this variation, you're going to cast on a multiple of 8 plus 3. Take my beige over, take my pink to the back. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this row, and then we're going to take a look at the purl row. Here we are at the end of the first row of our butterfly wing, and here's what it looks like on the back. So in the same way that I have my pink yarn is crossing in front of my stockinette stitches in the front over 5 stitches, in the back it's crossing over 3 stitches, because 3 is what my column is. Again, you can change the column to any stitch number you want. So on my purl side, I'm going to purl 3. This one, it looks ever so slightly different because we're turning. So I want to take my beige yarn over and take my pink yarn on top of it. So once again, the pink is always going on top of the cream, but on that turn you really have to sort of stop and think about it, because you want to make sure, once again, that the pink doesn't pull out. So I'm going to purl 5, take my beige over, bring my pink back, purl 3. So this is where we're getting our multiple of 8 from. We have 3 stitches in the column, 5 stitches in the butterfly, and then 3 at the end, so we have a column on both sides. So this is exactly the same idea as what we were doing on the front. It's just we have purl stitches on this side, and we had knit stitches on the other side. So I'm going to continue on with this row, and then I'm going to do 4 more rows. So I'm going to wind up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strands going across, and that's going to make up my butterfly wing. I just want to reiterate that row turn one more time. So for this, for going in this direction, I'm going to knit my 3. 1, 2, 3. And we keep saying the pink goes over the beige, and it looks on the row turn like the beige is going over the pink, but it's not. The beige is going over the pink from the previous row, but the pink is going over the beige to come to the front. I know that I'm being really picky about that, but what happens if you don't do it consistently in the way that I just showed you? You see how there's one cream strand separating every pink strand? What happens if you don't pay attention and just go every which way, or if you go in the opposite direction, you wind up with 2 pink strands in one row and none in the other, and it can be very inconsistent, and then your butterfly doesn't lay smooth. So it's a nitpicky little detail, but it really does matter, I promise. I have all of my prep done, and now I'm going to knit the body of my butterfly and turn it into 2 little wings. So this is where the fun begins. Now we're not going to deal with the pink yarn at all at this point. We're just dealing with our main color. Now I know I said earlier that you could have any number of stitches in the butterfly that you want, but I want you to do an odd number of stitches. I did 5. You could do 3, 7, 9, 11, however many you want. You can also change the number of strands. The reason I want you to have an odd number of stitches is because we want to be able to easily isolate the center one. So I had 5 stitches. My center stitch is the 3rd stitch. So I'm going to knit 2, bring my needle tip under just the pink strands, knit 1, bring that knit stitch under the pink strands and put it back on the left-hand needle, knit the same stitch again. It's a little elongated and it's going to drop, and that's what's going to give me my butterfly body. Now I have 2 more stitches in my butterfly. The 3 stitches in my column, 1, 2, 3. Let's knit the butterfly body one more time. Knit 2, 1, 2. Bring my needle up under the 6 strands, knit the stitch, bring the stitch under the 6 strands and pop it back on the left-hand needle and knit it a second time and knit the last 2 stitches of my butterfly. So I'm going to do that all the way across. And then what I did, and again you can change it up as you like, after I finished all of my butterflies in one row, I did 3 stockinette stitch rows in between. So I did a purl row, a knit row, a purl row, and then I began placing my strands again. The other thing you could do if you wanted to is stagger them. I have all my butterflies in a column, but you could change the orientation so there was a butterfly here and here, and now on the next row it's here. That's another reason I took an odd number of stitches in my column, is so I could center it a little better. There's all kinds of different things you can do with the butterfly stitch. Now you know how to do it. So I hope you had a good time. Check out some of our other very popular knitting videos here on our playlists. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I thank you so much for spending time with me today. Bye-bye.